CBS News special report. I'm Norah O'Donnell, and we are coming on the air as Madison, Wisconsin officials are giving an update on today's deadly school shooting at Abundant Life Christian School. We know 3 people are dead, including the suspect, who is believed to be a student, and at least 6 others were injured. Now, in an earlier press conference, police incorrectly reported a higher death toll. Abundant Life Christian School is a private school with nearly 400 students ranging from kindergarten through 12th grade. Let's listen in now to Madison, Wisconsin Police Chief Sean Barnes.
The Chief of Police for the Madison Police Department. I'll be providing a brief update of the school shooting that we had today in Madison. There is some information that we're not going to release because it's still an ever-evolving situation. You'll hear from some of our representatives from our city and from our county, and behind me are a lot of people who came together today to make sure that the day ended well and that everyone else was safe. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and start my remarks. Today truly is a sad day for Madison and for our country. It is a day that I believe will live in our collective minds for a very, very long time. Here are the details. Today at 10:57 a.m., our team was called to the Abundant Life Christian School in reference to an active shooter. We know that 3 people are dead, including the suspect shooter. We know that the suspect shooter was a teenage student who attended the school. At this time, we're not releasing the age or gender of the student or any other identifying remarks about the student. 2 other people have died. That died were a teacher and a teenage student. 6 other people were injured. 2 students are now in critical condition in the hospital, and these injuries are considered life-threatening injuries. 4 students are also at other area hospitals with non-life-threatening injuries. But these are just the physical injuries that we know about. We know that this was the middle of the day of a school day, and so there will be other injuries that we'll have to face for a very, very long time. And we're going to do everything we can as a community to heal those injuries as well. Many of you have asked me about the why of this. Why did this happen? What do we know? What was the motivation? I do not know. But I will tell you this, our detectives are working hard in the investigative process to find out as many answers as we can so that we can further prevent these things from happening, not only in this community, but in other communities around our country. I think we can all agree that enough is enough, and we have to come together to do everything we can to support our students, to prevent press conferences like these from happening again and again and again. The school building itself is clear. We have cleared the school. There's no other threats or danger to the community. We're in the process now of what we call reunification. And what that simply means is making sure that every student that was in the school is present and accounted for and returned to their loved ones. This usually takes a while, but we have practiced, unfortunately, and practice, and that's why we're able to reunify students with their parents within hours of a school shooting. The reunification is taking place at the Dean Clinic on Stoughton Road, and I certainly thank them for their help. Again, we need our public to find an alternate route. If that is your normal way home as we get closer to the end of the day, please be patient or find another route home. We're currently processing the scene. We're interviewing those who may have been witnesses, and we're obtaining search warrants to get additional information. And lastly, I want to just say thank you to everyone who's standing behind me, the organizations and agencies that they represent, the men and women of the Madison Police Department and Dane County Sheriff's Office who selflessly ran into a building not knowing what they were going to encounter. Many of you know this about me, but I started my professional career, if you will, as a public school teacher back in 1997. And I taught public school for 4 years. It was one of the greatest joys of my life before becoming a police officer. And I can tell you what a special place our schools are. With that being said, we owe it to our community to do everything possible to ensure that it's not only a special place, but a safe place as well. And we're going to continue to do that. So we ask for your patience as information is coming in. We will do the best that we can to bring you accurate and timely information, but we want to make sure that our public knows that we're working extremely hard on this particular incident. There are a lot of people involved, and certainly we're going to come together as a community. I'd like to bring up at this time Police Fire Chief Chris Carter.
Thank you, Chief Barnes. Before I start, the only thing I can say is this is not a place that any fire chief or any one of us would ever want to be. And I can't believe I'm standing here today talking about this incident. The fire department is a part of this community, much like all the folks standing up here with me today. Our hearts are with and our arms are around everybody impacted today and everybody. The details shared by Chief Barnes, but I will share with you the fire department activity for today. Much like Chief Barnes mentioned, at 10:57, we were also dispatched with Engine 5 and Medic 5 to the same location. Throughout the course of the incident, we responded with 5 engine companies, 4 ladder companies, 15 ambulances. I would like to take a moment and share our gratitude for our county partners throughout a multitude of years. We also had 11 off-duty chief officers that came in on this response. So it was a tremendous response from the fire department. We transported 4 patients to St. Mary's. We transported 3 patients to the University of Wisconsin hospitals. On the arrival of our crews, I can say my gratitude to our membership for what they did and their selfless actions today. It's hard for me to place into words what they ran into as well. They did that immediately. They did that selflessly. And within a course of 15 minutes, from the first transport to the last transport, all the patients were on their way to the hospital. So to our membership within the Madison Fire Department and within all the emergency services, my gratitude, my recognition of the work that goes into this, the training that went into this, that again, we had hoped we would never have to put into practice. One more time on behalf of the Madison Fire Department, our hearts are with you, our arms are around you, and we will be with you throughout the duration of this. So at this point, I'll step aside, turn it over to the mayor.
And some new information that we are getting from Madison, Wisconsin officials about that school shooting mid-morning at the Abundant Life Christian School. We know that 3 people are dead, including the juvenile suspect. I want to bring in Anna Schechter. She leads the CBS News crime beat for us. And Anna, what other additional information do we know about what happened?
Well, we've just learned that the suspect likely used a 9mm pistol, that was the weapon that was used. And again, at 10:57 a.m., 911 calls were placed about an active shooter situation. Police were dispatched, fire were dispatched. We just heard 15 ambulances raced to the scene. This was a huge response. You also had Dane County Sheriff's deputies who responded, and pretty immediately the FBI also was on the scene, ATF involved as well, working to trace that gun. So all of that has been underway just in these intervening hours. We're waiting to hear more about the victims and, of course, the shooter at this time.
Anna Schechter, thank you. Yes, some of the information we have gleaned from officials that a teacher is believed dead, as well as a teenage students. They do not have a motive at this hour. One thing that we have been following closely here at CBS News is the data summary finds that there have been 323 U.S. school shooting incidents this year, including today's. Now, compare that to 2023. Last year, there were 349. Want to bring in our CBS News national security contributor, Samantha Vinograd. And Samantha, This is a concern for all Americans and parents, certainly these school shootings. What strikes you about today's news?
What strikes me about today's news is how unsurprising it is. I helped to lead the Department of Homeland Security's efforts to prevent these school shootings by trying to identify threats well before an individual radicalized to violence. The police chief did say today that there is no ongoing threat to the community, but I want to note, Norah, that the investigation is just starting into the active shooter and what may have been the individual's motivations. At this time, we should expect law enforcement to be combing the individual's social media, perhaps encrypted communications, to try to identify if this individual was in touch with others and if there is, in fact, any sort of other related threat based upon this individual's actions.
Can I ask you, based on all of your knowledge and experience, how often is this likely to happen, a school shooting at a private, Christian school, a smaller school like this, as opposed to a larger public school?
Gun violence, unfortunately, doesn't discriminate when it comes to what kinds of campuses are effective. And that's why prevention experts across the country work with private schools, public schools, to try to identify security protocols, but also to try to encourage school officials and students to ask for help at the earliest possible stage when they see an individual potentially radicalizing to violence.
Samantha Vinograd, thank you so much. And so just to recap what we know at this hour, we have learned the suspect in today's school shooting at Abundant Life Christian was a teen student there. The Madison, Wisconsin police chief confirming and saying right now they are not releasing the age, gender, or other identifying remarks about this student suspect. The two other victims are a teacher and a teenage student. Also, big concern, 6 others were injured. 2 of those students are said to be in critical condition with life-threatening injuries. No motive at this hour. Our coverage will continue on CBS News 24/7, your local news, and then we'll have a full wrap-up tonight on the CBS Evening News. This has been a CBS News special report. I'm Norah O'Donnell.